Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite GLAD strategies. When I say GLAD, I mean Guided Language Acquisition Design. I've been using GLAD for almost 20 years. This is one of my favorite strategies. It's called the Pictorial Input Chart. Pictorial input charts are visual, integrated, and organized ways of presenting new information. They benefit English learners, but they also benefit other students as well. They're very engaging. They help teachers organize a unit as we're planning it, and they can be a strategy for students to use to plan their writing. So let's talk first about planning a pictorial input chart. Pictorial input charts come in different grain sizes. When I say grain size, I mean the level of broadness or specificity in the information. Typically, a GLAD unit will start with a big picture graphic organizer, like a world map or a timeline. So we're not talking about that level of broad perspective or broad grain size when we talk about a pictorial input chart. We're talking about something that's a little bit more zoomed in, but there's still a range in that specificity. Really, there are lots and lots of different ways to design pictorial input charts. One key aspect and goal of a pictorial input chart is that the information that we share there is comprehensible for students. Language acquisition research tells us that we need to provide information for students that is just a little bit beyond where they are themselves. And the information is best when it's relevant to their own lives and they can find a personal connection. Of course, the pictorial input chart that we choose to design and develop will be tied to our content. It'll be tied somehow to the literacy that the students will be reading, or the science they'll be studying, or the social studies, or maybe even the math. It will be designed according to the standards of our grade level as well, and the goals that we have for our students. We want, again, to make sure that we are attending to the level of rigor of the grade level that we're teaching. Even if we have students in our class who are beginning language learners or just beyond beginning, advanced beginning, and they seem like they need us to simplify the information and the language, we're not going to do a whole class pictorial input chart at that level. We are going to present the information and the language at the grade level standard, but we're going to try to make it as engaging as possible and as relevant to our students' lives and experiences as possible. That's part of the equity piece and being culturally responsive. So somehow we're going to try to put things into that chart that are not only our grade level content, but also somehow our students can relate to and connect with. For our students who are beginning language learners or advanced beginners, we will revisit that pictorial input chart many times, and it will be ideally a reference for them throughout the following weeks in our unit so that they can continue to feel more and more of a comfort level with that chart. Pictorial input charts contain content information, like I said earlier, as well as new language and terminology. The way that we organize pictorial input charts is in chunks of information or categories. The way we decide to organize the information on the chart oftentimes aligns with the goal we have for our students of the type of writing that they will be doing in the unit. And so we can organize our pictorial input chart with topically organized information, or we could organize a chart that is a comparative input chart that does compare and contrast of two things. We could organize one in a cause and effect way, problem solution, sequential. So there are lots and lots of different ways to think about organizing the chart. But again, the chart will be a whole class experience. It will be a teacher model and a whole class discussion about a topic that later, typically, students will investigate similar topics in the same type of topic family with the same categories that we investigate together in our whole class pictorial input chart. And then, as I said, later write in that same organizational structure. So it's something just to think about as we're designing our pictorial input chart. Once we've gone through all the thinking and planning for our pictorial input chart, and we've designed it and sketched it out, done rough sketches. Then we will get out our paper that we're planning to present on, and we will actually sketch out the whole thing with pencil. I also like to put color dots with my markers on the prepared pencil sketch, so that when I'm presenting to my students, don't need to think about what color I should grab as I'm categorizing the information by color. These are some key points to consider as we plan and design our pictorial input chart.